What's going on, guys? It's the Bring the Thunder podcast here. Forgive me for the lack of enthusiasm. I want to die. So
there's no
I'll
enthusiasm.
start it off here.
God.
This was the worst fall apart I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And that is not what championship caliber teams do. And I'll tell you right now, Minnesota is going to feed off that. If we play them round one, they have our number.
Yep.
Every team now knows our weaknesses, which we have plenty to talk about. And we are not ready for a championship run. We found that out tonight.
I don't know. Absolutely. I mean, and this is a complete meltdown from players to coaches. Coaching, what are we doing, Mark? Terrible lineups. We're not putting in the players that matter. Wiggins doesn't come in when he needs to. We're pulling out Joe. We're leaving in Kaysen. I mean, terrible coaching all around. But it's not all on him. The other half is we can't hit a fucking shot in the fourth quarter. I mean, open look after open look after open look after open look, and we're missing and missing and missing. Then when the game matters most, obviously we go to our MVP, and even he starts making mistakes because he's trying to play hero ball.
I mean, yeah, normally the first thing Thunder fans do after a game we should definitely win and we lose is to start pulling out excuses, but there's not a single excuse you can pull out of this game. You can't say it's because we didn't have Chet. We should win this game without Chet, 1,000%.
You're up by 25 points in the third quarter. There's no excuse for a lead like that to be blown, especially when 80%, 90% of that fourth quarter, Anthony Edwards isn't even in the basketball game. I mean, we're letting whoever the hell they want get points. And I mean,
and why did it take to like 30 seconds left in the fourth quarter for Mark Dagnall to put J. Will in?
Yeah,
they were clearly manhandling us on the boards. We were fouling because we couldn't play straight up defense. So why do we continue to throw 4 guards, 4 point guard shooting guards, and then Jalen Williams at center?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, McDaniels is not a scorer. We let this dude drop 27 on us. That's absolutely pathetic. This is the best defense in the league.
Exactly, John Nelson. Almost all our losses this year are without a big. And what does Mark do? He goes to the no big lineup. Like, what type of logic is that?
Hartenstein and Chet were injured, though, so we had no option. Jay was not really a big.
I mean, he's better than what we
I just don't see a world where you can have Caruso, Dort, and Wallace on at the same time. They're all the same player. None of them can shoot.
I tried to explain this last night.
Yeah, when J. Will was in, we made a run. That's right.
It's not even that. He's got a real hard problem figuring out lineups and lines, and he doesn't know when to change them. He doesn't know when to keep them on. We were up by 25 points in the third quarter. Everything was rolling. Our three-point shots were wide open, so they were going in. When you clog the paint with Kaysen and Caruso and Dort and whoever the hell else, and taking Isaiah out the game for that long, it's not going to work. We were breaking down their zone. We were killing them in man, and then he gave the game away by not making adjustments. He thought we were just going to, win the last 6 minutes and scrape it out, winning by like 8 points. But he screwed us in the end. Listen, we didn't make the shots, but Mark's got to figure it out. I was really pissed off last night, and I think he got lucky that Shai carried him to the dub last night. I don't care that Hartenstein got hurt. I don't care that Chet wasn't playing. Mark Dagnall's not doing it for us right now, and that's a big problem.
I don't understand, man. I mean, I just don't get how this game there's no words for this. Somebody pointed out that they had 39 free throw attempts. Yeah, that's insane. But once again, it's not like there were just ridiculously biased bad calls. I mean, we are up by 25 points. You don't lose a game because of the refs and blow a 25-point lead. This is an absolute meltdown. This is if something isn't changed, I don't know exactly what it is, but something has to be different because this is pathetic. There's no reason we should be losing to this team without – they're not even healthy. I mean, granted, we don't have Chet, but that's not an excuse because this isn't a healthy team. We're letting whoever they want score on us. This was disgusting. I mean, I don't even have words. It's just
and it all happened with a lineup of Dillingham, Naz Reid, McDaniels, and Edwards wasn't even on the floor. So this is a miserable loss. This isn't a loss that should have ever happened. This is a loss.
Someone made a point in the IG chat. We go down. Why not try something else? Try Carlson. I mean, it worked against the Cavs. Maybe he would give us a spark. It's something different.
Yeah, like I said.
I mean, he can't be worse than what we had in. He would at least. I mean, he would at least try.
It's terrible. It's terrible coaching. At the end of the day, he can't figure out his lineups. We were killing this team 2 nights in a row, and we let them back in the game. We were all watching the game and laughing at 6-minute mark. We're like, they're going to let them back in the game. Mark never changed anything, and they let them back in the game.
You could see it coming. It wasn't like the Wolves' comeback was just something that came out of nowhere. You could see it building up.
Why didn't Ihart come back? I honestly think he didn't break his nose. I think that Mark thought that we had the game in the bag and just fucking let him rest the rest of the game.
It's terrible.
Dreadful performance in the fourth quarter. I mean, what did we get outscored by 21 points in the fourth quarter to nobody's?
See some of these YouTube comments here.
Say Travis H said struggling 4 games against T-Wolves, still not afraid of the 7-game series. Right now, based off what I just saw, I'm afraid of pretty much anybody in a 7-game series because we just proved that we don't know what this team can expect anymore. I mean, I don't want to sound dramatic and just act like we're a fraud now, but what we just saw was absolutely ridiculous, and that is not what a 1 seed of this.
Yeah, Travis, I think we got fraud checked tonight. I'm not going to lie. Call me overreacting all you want. I don't really care. Maybe I could understand it if we dropped a 16-point lead to the Boston Celtics, but not to Rob Dillingham and company. So this team's got to figure something out. We brought it up. Jalen Williams, J-Dub, when it comes to the clutch time, he's nowhere to be found consistently. It's just Shai, and if Chet's not there, Dub's not there either. So that's a big problem with this team. And
it seemed like at the beginning of the year, or like even up in early January, he was hitting his stride late games in the fourth quarter. And now it just seems like he's non-existent in those instances where we have a close game in the fourth quarter and we need someone to step up besides Shai.
This is the problem. I mean, honestly, this is the issue, is this horrific inconsistency on every asset of the game. I mean, we've been this incredible team all season, but we've seen the issues and we've pointed them out game after game, regardless of if we win or not, because it's very clear that this team is inconsistent. And when it comes to the playoffs, you're going to have teams playing at a much higher level than what they're capable of. And if we're going to be inconsistent in the playoffs, I am desperately afraid of what's going to happen to this team.
Yeah, Terrence, you said where's the faith, though? We said that this is a great bounce-back team. Yeah, here's the problem.
We repeated the same mistakes that we made last night.
We've completely been repeating the same mistakes 3 times against Minnesota now, and it's on the coaching. The team, it's one of the best teams in the league, but if the coach continues to mess up and screw up and not make adjustments, not make the right adjustments, that's signs of like I said last night, if you saw our game discussion, that's signs of a coach who's not ready for a championship run. And I mentioned it last night. I think tonight showed, and it's really upsetting because this team is ready to win it. I don't think our coach is.
I mean, I get that for sure, but then there is still the other side of players not stepping up when they need to in the moments like they did tonight. I mean, I blame Mark more, but at the same time, I don't understand how we just – it was bad subbing, absolutely. But there were too many open shots that we just gave away in the end there, and that's terrible. The defense became lackluster. I mean, Caruso had been great the whole game, but that foul on I don't remember who it was. I think it was McDaniels, was just terrible. That was awful.
The M1 on McDaniels. Bongs and stonks. Y'all hating on Mark is ridiculous. No, it's not ridiculous because this is 2 nights in a row where he's had an awful coaching performance. We're up by 25 points with the lineup of Wiggins and Joe against the zone, and then he completely screws it up and goes to our worst shooting lineup for the rest of the game.
Yeah, so
it's not ridiculous. I'm not blaming him for the full game.
We're not putting the full blame on him, but we do think there were necessary adjustments that should have been made.
And we're also not saying that he's just the worst coach in NBA history. Like, he's still a great coach. He's been great this season. He's just had issues.
No, Jesse, we're not denying that. Yeah. We do think he's the best coach that OKC has ever had.
People are misunderstanding what we're saying here. We can be critical without saying that.
Even the best coaches of all time make mistakes. Even Greg Popovich makes mistakes.
Yes, for sure. Absolutely. But the thing is, we can give them credit. I mean, obviously we can give him credit, and we're going to when he does good jobs, but that doesn't mean that he's just immune and isn't going to get called out when he messes up.
Again, bonks is bonks. When you say we literally had no big, they had Naz Reid. They didn't have their big either, so that's not that big of a deal. Also, we could have put Jay Will in way earlier than what we did, so that's all Mark. That's all Mark for sure.
We had no big, but we're still letting everybody on their team get rebounds, and they don't have a big either. I mean, Terrence Shannon comes in and drops 17 and 10. That's ridiculous.
On like 70% shooting.
Yeah, that's absurd. You cannot let that happen, and that's not because we don't have a big. That's because we're not playing the way we should be. I mean, it's just terrible.
I don't think you guys understand. This is one of the bigger collapses I've seen personally out of an OKC team. This was a team that was up by 25 points in the third quarter. This is a team that let up a 16-0 run in the fourth quarter.
To close out the fourth.
Understand. Rob Dillingham, to Nickeil Alexander-Walker, to Naz Reid, to Jaden McDaniels. We didn't blow the lead to Tatum and Brown. We didn't blow the lead to Doncic and LeBron. We blew the lead to a team with nobody on the floor. That's a problem.
It's awful. Joe, you said
that shows you that they're not ready yet.
Yeah. Joe, you said earlier that this is one of the biggest chokes or biggest blown leads for Thunder in general. This is one of the biggest meltdowns I've seen in basketball in general. This reminded me a lot of the 30-point lead that we blew to Dallas last year. I mean, we ended up pulling that one out and winning, but this is just terrible. I mean, this is ridiculous. Like this is not acceptable, and this is not just a slip up. It's not just oh man, unfortunately we lost this. This is a bad loss. This feels bad. I mean, this is the kind of thing that the players need to wake up. The coaches need to wake up. This is a wake-up call to say, if you don't make a change, you're not going to win in the playoffs. This could not have been a more clear message tonight.
You guys need to trade for Vucevic now. We can't afford a max player on the bench. That wouldn't make any sense.
Nowadays in the NBA, you literally can't pull your starters until you have a 20-point lead with 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, we didn't even pull our starters. We didn't have Shai in, but we
No, I'm saying we just played like we had the game in the bag.
Yeah, absolutely, we did.
It's like we just handed it. Like we're like, here, you guys come back.
Timberwolves just won their Super Bowl, maybe, but that doesn't mean that we just lost a horrific game and maybe have shown extreme flaws and maybe some doubt into what we think we could do this year. So I'm not really focusing on the Timberwolves. Good win for them. They beat us 2 times out of the last 3 games. That could be their Super Bowl. I don't really care about them. I care about Oklahoma City and what they put out onto the court tonight. It looked horrific.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, good for Minnesota. They should feel really good about this win. This is a huge win. They pulled it off. They showed that they have depth and their guys stepped up. If I am Minnesota, I'm worried if that's going to be a consistent thing, but good for them. They earned this win. We sure as hell didn't. I mean, if we would have pulled off this win, this would have felt like a really deflating win again, where it's like, at this point, do we even deserve to win this game? Because we didn't play like we did. I mean, that overtime was terrible. It's one thing to blow that lead, but then go into overtime and just play with the same level of aggression and the same level of it was just terrible. Like that overtime was disgusting. It felt like everything was getting forced. We missed about 3 or 4 wide open threes. Granted, the one that Jay Will shot, that was fine. He just needs to hit that. But other than that, we were forcing the hell out of the 3 ball. At no point did we need to do that. That's on coaching. Why is a timeout not being called? And we're sitting down and discussing, okay, let's play some normal basketball here and actually end up pulling off a win here, because it was more than it was handed to us. And we just, in no means did we deserve to win that game. So in one way, it's almost better to lose that one because we didn't deserve that one.
So here's a few things I'm going to take from this game. And I think it's just Jaden. I appreciate that. But listen, anybody could make those adjustments that they were obvious, but I appreciate that. But here's the thing I'm taking away from this game. Big things. Number 1, we are a team that likes to take their foot off the gas pedal when they have a huge lead.
Which can't happen in the playoffs.
Including the coach. Number 2, Mark still hasn't figured it out. Last night, I thought he would sleep on it and figure it out today, which we thought he did. Messed it up in the fourth quarter horrendously. Number 3, we don't have guys besides Shai to go to down the stretch. And if we get into these one basket games, 2 basket games, and they take Shai out, we're screwed. Because Dub is not handling that as we thought he would. Chet wasn't in, but are we really going to give Chet and let him ISO? That it's not his game. So
at least hopefully help the 3-point shooting situation.
I don't believe that's playing down to your competition. I just think that's screwing up. I don't think we play down to our competition that much at all. I think we blow out a lot of teams that we're supposed to beat. Just beat Utah by 23. I think Minnesota has our number. I don't think it was us playing down to our competition. They beat us.
Jesse on YouTube is saying, I guess Mark was out there missing them shots. Jesse, you're not understanding how important of a role a coach plays in winning a game. Obviously, the players are missing shots, but why is J-Will not in? Why do we not have a big end? Why do we not have
another thing, Jesse? It's not about Mark out there missing them shots. It's about Mark didn't put the shooters out there to hit them shots.
Exactly.
Cason and Dort on the
yes, exactly. And Dort was. Don't get me wrong. I love having Dorton just for the defense alone, but Cason was not the right play in that moment, and he takes out Isaiah Joe to put. I mean, granted, I'm glad that he puts Dort back in, but why is Dort not going in for Cason? Swap out that defense and keep your shooter in. We desperately needed shooting in that moment. So they are missing the shots, but that's because, like Joe just said, our coach isn't making necessary changes to hit shots. That is on the coach. The whole game isn't on him, but don't act like he's just this totally scot-free, had no problems, we only lost because our players choked. Like, that is just not what happened. That's ridiculous.
But
For the people asking for iHeart updates, he took a blow to the face and his nose started bleeding. I think he'll be back next game. I don't think it was anything too serious, like maybe a broken nose, but I don't. It didn't look like something that would cause a broken nose. He should be. I think it was more Mark. Mark thought we had this game in the bag, so he's like, oh, let's pull an iHeart. Let's not risk him getting hit in the nose again. And we saw what happened.
It's _Bam. You said it's. I think we're just overreacting. All teams have these kinds of nights. No, teams don't have nights when they blow 25-point leads consistently. Teams don't have nights.
A little different here.
When they let Rob Dillingham go 16-0. Championship teams don't have those nights. So
yeah, for sure.
That's not true. And why isn't Chet playing? We were on a back-to-back. He played last night. He's still only like.
I think you can basically confirm that he probably won't be playing the second night of back-to-backs for the rest of the year. The way Dagnall and the staff have been making it sound, that's probably going to be the case for the rest of the year.
Let's go Heat.
For sure, I agree with that. As for all the people that are saying we're overreacting, here's what I have to say to that. We're not overreacting. This was an absolute meltdown, but it doesn't mean that this team is just now the bottom of the West. We're still the best team in the West. We're still an incredible team, but that does not excuse this type of play. Incredible teams don't have these types of meltdowns. So, yeah, maybe we're getting upset about it, but it's a fair reaction because this is ridiculous. But at the same time, I still expect us to be a good team. But if we want to make a serious run in the league, and we just saw the other day, it is said across the league that teams do not take us seriously. This does not help with that. This does not help with that motive because we were not taken seriously tonight, and look what happened. We
were also at home.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, and off of that, this is the type of game that can completely flip a playoff series. You have a game like this, it kills your players' confidence. They become unmotivated, and it can completely flip the script on a playoff series.
We've given up a 19-2, 22-2, and now a 33-11 run this season. Yeah, 100%. And don't forget about last year where we gave up 30 straight points to Dallas as well. So that's clearly a big thing. I gotta blame that on a lot of people. I do. Chris, what coach do you guys want? I want Coach Mark Dagnall to make the necessary adjustments. I don't want anyone else.
Yes, exactly what I was going to say. I do not want to get rid of Coach. Mark is an incredible coach, but this can't happen. I mean, we've talked a lot about him recently, especially about my thoughts on him, saying that I want to keep him around and I have nothing wrong with him. And I know that I'm not saying that you guys disagree with that, but this is inexcusable. If we lose the game because we get outplayed, that's not on him. We lost this game because we got outplayed and because he did not let us play our game, and that's 2 nights in a row he's done that, and that's terrible.
He can't control players making and missing shots, but he can control putting the 5 best players out on the floor.
Absolutely.
Joseph on YouTube, so much for playing Wiggins a lot. Didn't do us very well tonight. He was probably our second best or third best player on the floor tonight. Played outstanding until the fourth quarter.
Yeah, he was great. That fourth quarter was an absolute meltdown. That was on everybody, but that doesn't excuse the fact that he was playing good before that. Not at all.
But yeah, going back to the game, we go over some of the stats. SGA was playing outstanding, 39 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists. Screwed up in the clutch, but it was just him. They were triple teaming the guy, and he was trying to play hero ball. I think J-Dub's stats are a false narrative of the game. Finished with 27, 6, 6. I don't think he played that well tonight at all. Looking at their side, again, Jaden McDaniels, 27 and 11. Anthony Edwards had a horrific shooting night, 17 points and 13 rebounds. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, 20 points. Like, we are getting Terrence Shannon, 17. Rob Dillingham, we are getting destroyed by nobodies. And that's not what championship teams do, guys. If Tatum put up 50 and 20, I would be like, all right, well, Tatum went fucking nuts.
No, yeah, I put it this way. The best team in the Western Conference shouldn't be struggling with a lineup that has 2 rookies in it in overtime. That's not what the best teams in their conference do.
I want to get on that comment on Instagram, just Jaden. Thoughts on Shai taking contested 3 on Ant? Not worried about the contested 3. What I got really pissed off was he flailed his arms like he wanted a foul call. That's not what he does in the clutch. I've seen the guy hit multiple game winners. I didn't like him selling out on that last possession. But how do you blame the guy? I mean, he was the only one scoring tonight, so what are you going to do?
Yeah, I mean, especially in that situation where we'd seen him pass up the ball multiple times and we just kept missing. I mean, he's expected to be the one to take that shot at the end and he had to force it. I mean, it's not an ideal shot, but it's not an ideal situation that we were in. And when we blew that 25-point lead, that was not on him. So if we don't get put in that situation, he doesn't have to take that shot. So
let's talk about the first half, though. Let's talk about the first half. Here we go.
That was great. Had a great time.
We saw them literally less than 24 hours ago. Beat them, let them have their run, but we ended up coming back to win. We made the adjustments. They
spread Wiggins to the corner, like we said in the last recap, which is what we thought should happen.
Wiggins and Joe were spraying. Shai was getting wide open looks. Everything was great. We were killing their zone. We were killing the zone so bad they had to go back to man. And guess what Mark does in the second half? Doesn't put the same lineup out. He doesn't put the same lineup out, especially in the fourth quarter, and he lets their zone kill us. And somebody in the comments, Creptiles, between the fourth and OT, I think we went like 2 for 18 from 3. Guess why? Because Lou was shooting the threes, Kaysen was shooting the threes, J. Will was shooting the threes, not our 2 best shooters.
Yeah,
it's not that hard, guys.
Yeah,
it's not that hard.
TJM19 on Instagram just said, "Is the merchant talk getting to his calm aura-filled head?" I can't tell if you're being serious with this question.
I think that's a troll because he had 39 points, 10 rebounds, and 8
exactly.
assists.
So the dude played.
Not blaming that guy.
Yeah.
Not blaming that guy for sure.
Yeah, that's a.
Shai's not the problem. It's someone else stepping up, so Shai doesn't have to take every single late close game situation into his own hands.
Exactly. I mean, we had the 25-point lead because we were playing good as a team, but he was absolutely cooking the whole game until that situation. So
I'll tell you guys right now. I said it last night. If Mark doesn't make the adjustments and wake the hell up, we're not winning holy shit. We're not winning a playoff series, guys. We're not winning a 7-game series because guess what? The team we played tonight is one of those teams that we can play in the first round.
Yeah.
Another team we can play in the first round is the Golden State Warriors. Another team is the Dallas Mavericks. If we play like this and the coach doesn't figure it out, we are not winning one series. And it's so funny for me to say that because just 2 weeks ago, I thought we were winning the championship. Comes down to coaching. I don't know what's going through his head. I know he turned 40 yesterday. Maybe he drank a little bit too much.
Awful. We lay our foot off the gas. The Warriors will put us out of our misery faster than the Wolves can with their shooting ability.
There will be no time to come back like we did last night against the Warriors. They'd blow us up if they're hot like that.
Yeah, they're 5-1 since getting Butler. I mean, there are not a lot of teams right now that if we play this way, I would like to see. I mean, really, this is honestly Minnesota is one of probably the easier ones at this point. So this is.
Well, we can't really say that anymore.
Yeah, and I'm just talking about roster-wise, looking at other teams in the West. You know how deep the West is. But yeah, no, that's my point. There isn't really a team that I'm comfortable with if this is what we're going to be seeing. So I don't know what to expect.
Well, let's go back to the comments here. Flaky_striker on YouTube. Between the 4 or so missed open threes in clutch time and the forced 3 by Shai, I can't tell which is worse. All right, let me go to that Shai 3. The Shai 3 wasn't forced. We were down by 3, and he shot it with like 4 seconds left. And it was an open look. The problem with that shot was he looked for a foul, which is really going to get the guys on Twitter going. I promise you that. But I would say the 4 or so missed open threes, because one, they were wide open, and two, the right guys weren't in. It was the wrong players shooting the ball.
Yep. Absolutely. It's just really frustrating. I mean, it's not a lot of excuse. There aren't any excuses.
But yeah, looking forward. Got games in Brooklyn and game in Atlanta. If they don't come out pissed off and kill both of those teams,
yeah.
Well, it shouldn't have to. It shouldn't have to take us. It shouldn't have to take us being pissed off to beat those teams.
No, but I want to see it.
Yeah.
We need to see. We need to see the energy. We need to see something from the whole team as well. I mean, we need to start seeing everybody step up because this is just inexcusable. This is a team.
All the Nets game's gonna do is make me wish we traded for Cam Johnson.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, obviously, just a absolutely horrific loss tonight. I'm gonna try my best to forget about this night. I'm gonna try my best to say, okay, we're still 46-11. We're still top in the West.
Yep. I mean,
but if Mark keeps going at this rate, we're gonna have a problem.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys know here once again, some people agreeing, some people disagreeing, talking about overreacting, not overreacting. We still need to realize how good this team can be. I mean, this team can be absolutely incredible. This is an unfortunate loss, but look at
you can't let one game define an 82-game season.
And while that might sound hypocritical based off what we've been saying this whole time, you also can't blame fans for being upset at a loss like this. If you're not upset by this and you're just saying it's just a regular season game, you need to realize this was more than just a regular season game. This was a concerning loss. So there's a middle ground where you're admitting that this was a bad loss. This was on our coach. This was on our players. But then at the same time, we're realizing how good this team is. So we got to be honest in both sides of it because this team is still more than capable of being the best team in the NBA. Very capable of it. Coach Mark's got to figure out the subs. It has to happen. And other players have to step up. I mean, we can't, like Joe was talking about, we don't have a second fiddle. If Shai is not playing good, no one else is doing it. And that's where I'm really hoping Chet excels. Chet's got to be that guy because J-Dub's proven that right now he's not. And that was an issue last year as well. If Shai played good, J-Dub played good. If Shai played bad, J-Dub's gone.
Here's the one thing I will say about that. I'm looking forward. I said this last night. I think Chet has taken a major leap this year. If he's in this game, we probably close it out. I'm not going to give into that as much, but I think he's going to be big for the playoffs.
You don't want to make it seem like an excuse,
right?
Because there isn't an excuse for this game.
Talking about the playoffs, I think he's going to be big. Shannon Sharp's going to have a field day. Yeah, well, let him. I don't really care about Shannon Sharp that much. How funny would it be by the end of the playoffs we are holding the trophy? I mean, I'm still expecting that, guys. Yeah. Only if Mark wakes up. If Mark continues this trend down the line here, we're going to have serious problem.
Yeah, for sure.
SeaWorld's 23, thanks. Appreciate you.
Yep, absolutely.
AJ Mitchell would have made it. AJ Mitchell would have probably, but I mean, how much of a difference? We were up by 25 points. What are you going to do?
Yeah, there's no what if we did this, what if this happened, what if this guy played, we lost this game. I mean, let's just at this point just put it behind us. I mean, we just got to move on. We just got to, like Joe said, just forget this game even happened. But at the same time, us as fans got to forget it. Us as players and the coach cannot. This needs to be a game that we remember to make sure that this does not happen again.
The biggest reason why I'm upset is I saw Mark do this in the playoffs last year. If you watch the video from yesterday, I broke that down. Yeah. And then I also saw him do this yesterday. And I saw him do it again tonight. So, man, all you could say is just better.
Dylan Winterfield asked if we are set. Oh, he said that he is currently breaking everything in his house after the game, and he asked if it's a valid crash out. I would say yeah. I was about to. If it wasn't for watching the game with Joe and Joe staying level-headed, that's probably what I would have been doing.
Here's the thing. What was the username?
Dylan.Winterfield.
Yep.
Winterfield.
All right, Dylan. Here's the thing. I was I crash out a lot. The Golden State game earlier in the year, my coffee table was broken in half. But the thing with this one, it was so just. I wasn't even mad because
it was
so gross and so disgusting that from what I was seeing from my own team, I was like, why would I even crash out for these guys?
Yeah,
they didn't do shit for me tonight.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I don't think it's a worthy crash out. I would just let this one go, and at this point, just watch the rest of the games and see if Mark figures out how to coach the team.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not even worth the energy to get that mad over a game like this. You just got to be like,
yeah. You got to think we're about to see a whole lot of zone defense.
You got to pray we're about to see a whole lot of just changes. Period. Just things being different. Because
no, I'm saying teams throwing zone defense after seeing how effective it's been against us.
No. But here's the thing, though. They could throw the zone defense at us all they want. We were absolutely destroying it with our shooters in. If Mark
we were, but then
still being a dumbass, then we're gonna get screwed.
Yeah.
Would Scott Brooks or Billy make better adjustments in this situation? Don't talk to me about Scott Brooks, but Billy might have made better adjustments.
I agree with that.
But that does not infer that he's a better coach than Mark Daigneault, because straight up he's not.
Why keep Carlson if we're not going to play him? LOL. That's a great question. Why weren't any changes made tonight? That's a really good question. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because Mark, we talk about Mark being so experimental, but then the one time we need him to be,
I was going to say that. I was going to say, if he wants to stick to this experimenting thing, why not experiment with Carlson?
Yeah. Well, just in general, why do you suddenly decide to just ride with what you got when we clearly need the change? But then the second that we don't need a change, we decide to get experimental. That can't happen. I mean, that's just lazy.
Landon brought this up earlier, which I kind of disagreed with. I might have said it already. I've been rambling about this game. I said that championship teams don't have these kinds of losses and kind of fallouts and lead losses. And he said, well, we did it to Boston last year.
No, that was Jack that said that.
Oh, Jack said that. Sorry. Jack said that. Well, I would like to respond with, we have a much better team, or we had a much better team last year than what Rob Dillingham, Naz Reid, Terrence Shannon, Clark, and the rest could do. So I think it's a much worse loss.
Who would I like to see replacing Mark comment on Instagram? Nobody until Mark proves that making adjustments is a consistent issue. But at the moment, it's only been.
I mean,
you could make the argument for 3 games.
Should I punch a hole in my wall? Valid crash out? No, not tonight. Not tonight. Punch a hole in your wall if we lose it in Nets on Wednesday.
Yeah, Nets and Hawks, a little more understandable there.
Logan Adam, Dort needs to be on a shorter leash. I don't think that's necessarily the right wording. I see where you're getting at. What I think is, find your matchups. When Ant Edwards isn't in the game, Lou doesn't have to be in the game when they're playing zone. Put the shooters in. It was going fine.
Yeah.
When Ant Edwards is in the game, you'd probably like to have Lou on him and a guy like Ant Edwards. But it's not about a leash. It's about knowing your personnel, knowing your matchup, and putting your best chance to win on the floor, which he consistently just doesn't do.
Yeah.
He doesn't do it. He had the same lineup in, I think, until 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter, guys. Yeah. And he was just watching it go, watching the lead go.
Yep.
To the comment that said, our defense has looked buns to you in the past 2 weeks. I mean, our defense has looked sloppy at times, but it's also our offense just decides to go on droughts. And I don't know if we're putting the wrong players on the floor or our guys just literally can't hit shots. But
not to bring up anything again here at the end, but there was one play that really frustrated me more than the others, and it was after Lou gets that huge block, him immediately not holding the ball up. I don't understand what happened there. That was one of the more frustrating plays of the game there. I believe he saw Caruso running and thought that we could try to take a bigger lead, but we're up by 1. The shot clock's off. Hold the ball. Just wait. Shai's going to come get it.
Grab the ball, look for 2, and give it to him.
Yeah, that was the moment where I was just done. I mean, that was the biggest one. But
yeah, I agree, Taylor. I think it's a mix of both. I think it's a mix of sloppy defense and going cold on offense.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, like we kind of said, No, for the people crashing out, don't crash out. You're going to be okay, I promise. But this sucks. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and tell you everything's going to be okay. This sucks. But once again, yes, whoever mentioned that earlier that we said that this is a bounce back team, they are. This is a bounce back team. Let's prove it. Let's put this game in the rear view and let's prove it, because Mark's got to show us what he's capable of, because he's a great coach. He's just got to prove it. So,
just like a win is a win at the end of the day, a loss is a loss at the end of the day.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it. We lost the game. We got one more loss added to that record now, and nothing can change that. So,
all right. So looking forward for us and OKC. For OKC, beat the Nets, beat the Hawks, get those 2 games easy. Get right back on track.
Yeah.
Because we're still the number 1 seed in the West here. Don't get shaken up off of it. Let the team prove us that I was wrong tonight by saying that they're not a contender yet.
Yeah.
And then for us, we will have OKC's off till Wednesday, so we will have a recap up Wednesday, the Brooklyn game.
Yep.
And then our episode we will be recording on Thursday. Super exciting stuff, and yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, thank you guys for listening. As always, frustrating one, but that's what we want to do, is give you guys content even when the game doesn't go our way. So, but as always, go on, Landon.
I was just gonna say, and we're still gonna be fans through whatever.
Yeah,
one loss isn't gonna determine our support.
Exactly. So, again, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for all the comments. Seriously, just know that we might be harsh and we might be realistic, but it's not like we hate this team. It's not like we hate a single player. We don't hate the coach.
Mm-hmm. And we obviously understand that we're not going to go 82-0.
Yeah,
losses are bound to happen.
It's just the type of.
It's just the way it happened tonight.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you guys as always. And Joe, you want to send them home?
Thunder up, baby! Let's go!